Hello. Okay. So instrumentation in power system means whatever you have to study the different power system. Already you have to maybe read any subject related with the power system, but in this subject you have to dealing with the only the instrumentation part, not in any detail of your power system, but you have to discussion about the instrument part, उसके इक्विपमेंट के बारे में, कंपोनेंट के बारे में, पावर पॉइंट पावर प्लांट में जो पावर प्रोडक्शन हो रही है उसके रेलेवेंट कौन कौन से फिनोमिनन है, कैसे पावर आपकी ट्रांसमिशन होती है, कैसे कम्युनिकेशन कम्युनिकेशन हो सकता है, हाउ टू यूज योर SCADA इन दैट. So there are number of instrumentation part, whatever is used in your hydro power plant, nuclear power plant, thermal power plant, how the SCADA you have to use in your power plants. So there are number of possibilities of the instrumentation you have to use in your power system. Already you have to read out the some power system points. Power system का कोई subject पढ़ा हुआ बच्चे आपने अभी? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that is include your instrumentation part. Okay, so regarding with that I have to teach this subject instrumentation. So जैसे भी कोई भी हमारे section है, that is a section covered under this instrumentation in power system, that is a section A. Section A of the syllabus, it should include here some your general introduction of the electrical quantities, active and reactive powers, energy meters, energy meter, single phase energy meter, three phase energy meter, your instrumental transformers and their characteristics and their transient response of the various transformers. Second unit, you should have to include your basic modulations type. You have to choose up your different modulations, your different analog and digital modulation techniques. Third unit you have to cover with your telemetry part and the SCADA one. SCADA and the basic introduction architecture types of the SCADA, and the last unit in this you have to cover about the instrumentation of the different power plants, hydro power plant, nuclear power plant and the thermal power plant. Okay, so ये सब टॉपिक्स आपके सिलेबस के अकॉर्डिंग इंक्लूड होंगे, बट यू हैव टू अवेयर कि आप में यही किसमें केवल इंस्ट्रूमेंटेशन ही आप पढ़ोगे बस, ठीक है. तो नाउ सबसे पहला टॉपिक जो हमारा सिलेबस में सेक्शन ए में इंक्लूड होता है, और किसी को क्यों नहीं बच्चे इसके रिलेटेड वन, व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ दिस. सो नाउ द फर्स्ट टॉपिक दैट इज measurement of your electrical quantities. So there are some first topic that is the measurement of your electrical quantities. Electrical quantities, just I have to see in your, I have to write in your blackboard also, blackboard. Okay, that is a number of your electrical quantities you have to use there. Means that is the first topic I have to cover in that, that is your measurement of your measurement. The board is visible to all of you?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Okay. इसमें से कौन कौन सी बेसिक्स इलेक्ट्रिकल क्वांटिटीज आई हैव टू राइट इन दैट, that is electric current, some basic electrical quantities, electric current, voltage, current and charge also. Third one is now resistance, capacitance, resistance हो गई, आपके कैपेसिटेंस, इंडक्टेंस, okay. Fourth funnel point that should be used here: electric power and electric energy, voltage, current, power. Your voltage, current, resistor, voltage, current, and resistance, measuring instruments. Okay, so that are the some basics we have to use there. बेसिक मेजरमेंट ऑफ इलेक्ट्रिक क्वांटिटी, मैंने कुछ ही पॉइंट्स लिखे हैं यहाँ पे. दैट इज इलेक्ट्रिकल करंट एंड चार्ज, वोल्टेज, रेजिस्टेंस, कैपेसिटेंस, इंडक्टेंस, voltage, current, resistance measuring instrument, your different type of meters, your oscilloscope, your voltmeter, your ammeter, your galvanometer, your different transition power meters. तो ये सभी कुछ मेजरमेंट है जो आपकी इलेक्ट्रिकल क्वांटिटीज आप इससे मेजर करते हो. ओके, सो दैट इज सम बेसिक इलेक्ट्रिकल क्वांटिटीज. तो इसके बिहाफ पे आप जितने भी हमारे इलेक्ट्रिकल क्वांटिटीज हैं, यू हैव टू मेजर आउट दिस वन. वी आर यूजिंग द बेसिक्स, ओम्स लॉ फार्मूला, different basics power formulas. So to have to calculate the different type of your powers, active power, reactive power, then you are using your apparent power with the using of power triangle. So that are the some conclusion of this topic is now. Whatever what you have to different component, different quantity you have to measure in your electrical quantity. आप voltage measure करते हो, current measure करते हो with the help of using your different meters including in that. So that is the measurement of your electrical quantities. Okay, so I have to mention only the basic some points in your board. Otherwise there are more number of meters. Just I have to explain previously: potentiometer, galvanometer, ammeter, your voltmeter, okay, rheostat meter. So all this one under the category of measurement of the electrical quantities. Okay, now I have to move to the next topic, that is here active, reactive power and power triangle. So that is the topic. Okay, I have to share the PPT with you also. Now go to your PPT. Okay, active power, definition of your active power. Okay, active power, the power which is actually consumed or utilized in an AC circuit is known as true power, active power, or real power. The power which is actually consumed or utilized in an AC circuit is known as your true power, active power, or real power. And the measurement of unit of this, that is here in kilowatt and megawatt. Okay, it is the actual outcomes of the electrical system which runs the electric circuits or load. Okay, so that is the definition of your basic active power. Okay, now this is your, now that is your active power, which is have to measured in the term of your kW or MW, kilowatt or megawatt. Now next one is, now that is your reactive power, the power which flows back and forth. That means it moves in both the directions in the circuit or react upon itself, is known as your reactive power. So means that power which flows back and forth, that it is moving in the both the directions in the circuit or react upon itself. It is known as your reactive power, and the reactive power is measured in kilovolt ampere reactive. That should be must, you have to aware about this point. You have to measure the active power in kW or MW, and the reactive power you have to measure up in your kVAR or
सर
MVAR. That is
सर
your, yes, yes.
सर रिएक्टिव पावर ने समय लगी
Hello.
सर तो फिर सर अगर हम एक्चुअली एक्टिव पावर यूज करते हैं तो फिर रिएक्टिव पावर की क्या जरूरत है हमें, उसका फिजिकल सिग्निफिकेंस क्या है?
Physical signal that I have to explain next, how to use with the active power and the reactive power for that. Okay. On the side
Okay.
I will cover. Okay. What is the difference between active and reactive power? Okay. Now third one is, now that is the some, you have to know the some theoretical point of views. I have to discussion about of the, that is the difference between your active and the reactive power also. Okay, so now third power, that is known as your apparent power. Apparent power, what is the definition of that? Product of root means square value of voltage and current, means RMS value of voltage and current, it should be known as your apparent value. That is not a some point of value power, this is some RMS value. Root means square value of voltage and current, it is known as your apparent power, and it should be measured in the term of your kVA or MVA. Previous there should be measured is in a kVAR, voltage ampere reactive, kVAR, that is measured in here kVA, okay, or MVA. So the actual formula of the true power means, that is the previous true power is also known as the active power. That is the true power equal to voltage cross current in phase with voltage. इससे पहले मैं आपको फॉर्मूले से पहले आपको एक कॉल कर लो बच्चे आप. Now listen students, so I have to cover up with you some definition of your active power, reactive power and the apparent power. Okay, apparent power, if you know that the product of the root means square value of voltage and current is known as your apparent power, and there are some calculation point of view, that is the definition of the true power. Okay, true power, that is your
active power.
That is your active power. Okay, active power, and this is here in that case voltage and current in phase with the voltage. Okay, in phase with the voltage. But in the case of your reactive power, that is your voltage and current out of phase with the voltage, means current have the out of phase with the voltage. Sometimes the reactive power is also known as your useless power, because it should be go with their actual definition, means sometime you will also known as their reactive power is also tell their useless power. Because क्या होता है बच्चे इसमें, the reactive power में क्या होता है, the power which moves back, bounce back and forth between source and load, means जो आपकी power है basically source और load के circuit के बीच में bounce back होती रहती है. Power, it should be now up and down in the case of whenever you give the power to the source and the power is transferred from source to the load, it can be decreasing, increasing. Power means increase or decrease level. So it not a very feasible in your practical manner, but theoretically हम इसको measure करते हैं in the term of your reactive power. So sometime you should also known as your this is your useless power or whatless power. Means कई बार आप रिएक्टिव पावर को यूजलेस पावर भी और वॉटलेस पावर भी बोलते हो. ये सभी नाम पॉइंट्स यू हैव टू mention in your mind, learn in your mind. That is the different names of the true power and the reactive power. Is that true power, it should, active power, it should be known as true power, active power or real power. But reactive power is also known as your useless power and whatless power, because this is in, it is not in the practically using in the power. So basically जो आपकी reactive power होती है, it is useful to, that is to help to produce magnetic and electric field and store in the circuits. ये जो आपकी पावर होती है, बेसिकली यू हैव टू जनरेशन ऑफ योर मैग्नेटिक एंड इलेक्ट्रिक फील्ड इन योर सर्किट्स. ओके, पता लगा बच्चे? जो पूछ रहे दैट इज द डिफरेंस. आगे हम दोनों का डिफरेंस भी कुछ पॉइंट शेयर करूंगा मैं आपको. दैट इज द डिफरेंस बिटवीन योर एक्टिव एंड द रिएक्टिव पावर. सो उसके अकॉर्डिंग दैट इज द सम फेजर डायग्राम आई हैव टू शो इन दिस बोर्ड आल्सो. What is now phasor diagram of the inductive circuit? Okay, that is a phasor diagram of the true power and the reactive power. Is that this is your voltage, this is your P part, I sin phi. This is the angle phi. This is the O point. This is a I cos phi. So taking voltage V as a reference, the current I lag behind the voltage V by of angle phi. Means that is your current I that is lag behind of the voltage with the angle of the phi. Okay, so the current I is dividing into two components. That is I cos phi. I cos phi, that is one. This one I cos phi, that is your in phase with your voltage. And second component, that is your I sin phi, which is 90 degree out of phase with the voltage. So this is your I sin phi. So I have to explain the phasor diagram in this one. So this is your phasor diagram of the active and reactive power. In that, voltage is taken as a reference and current I is lag behind of the angle of the phi of this one. Okay, so आपके जो ट्रू पावर था उसमें क्या था, जो आपका ये वोल्टेज एंड करंट है, that should be now in phase with your voltage. But in the case of your reactive power, that is the current component, that is a 90 degree lag behind of the 90 degree out of phase with the voltage. So that is the value of the reactive power. So after conclusion of this one, according to this phasor diagram, I have write the actual formula for that. That is their active power. Active power means that is the actually utilization power, and that is a current I that is a in phase with the voltage. So I के दो component है, that is the I cos phi and the I sin phi. Okay, I sin phi due to active power, this is your in phase. So that is the formula for the active power is now V into I cos phi. Okay. Second case, it should be also denoted by the capital P. Second case है आपका reactive power. Reactive power, it should be denoted by your PR or Q1. So that is now voltage and current that is now out of phase with the voltage. So that is the answer is now V into I sin phi. Okay, so now apparent power, third value is now apparent power, that is denoted by your PA or capital S. It should be equal to your V into I, that is your VI. So that are the three definitions according to your active and reactive power in that. So that is the two definitions I have to share with them. That is your, once again I am repeating that this is your phasor diagram of the voltage and current I component, that is the lag behind of phi with voltage. I having the two component, that is the I cos phi, that is now in phase with the voltage. Second one is the I sin phi, that is the out of phase with the voltage. According to your definition of the active, reacting and apparent power, so this is your active power. Active power क्या था? Actually utilization of your AC power. जो actually utilization power होती है उसमें क्या definition थी? There should be know that is a power and current that is in phase with each other. So that is a voltage and current that is in phase with each other. So formula is V into I cos phi. Second one is now reactive power. That is I is now out of phase with the voltage. I component V into I sin phi. Okay. Third one is now apparent power. It should be equal to a VI and it should be denoted by PA or S, PR or Q by reactive power, and active power is only a capital P. So that is your some definition part of your active, reactive, and apparent power is there. Clear all of you up to this point?
Yes, sir.
Sir, please unmute the mic.
Now I am audible to all of you, students. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. So whatever that is the characteristics, I have to discussion about the active and the reactive power. Okay, active and the reactive power is that is a difference between of the different characteristics. Characteristics में difference, that is the first difference is now definition. Definition is now actual utilization and back and forth power. Okay, that is a power, that is a up and down power utilization in the circuit. Mean whatever you power is given to the source and load is bounce back and forth, up and down. That should be known as your useless or wattless. Wattless power. Okay. So second is now representation. Active power, that is representation by your capital P, and that is representation by your Q. Okay, by formula that is here VI cos phi, that is here VI sin phi. I'm audible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now measurable measuring instrument. Measuring instruments, that should be now watt meter, that will be the kilowatt, and that is here VAR meter, voltage ampere rating meter. Okay, next is now role in DC circuit. I have to raise this one. Okay, just wait. Next point is now role in DC circuits. Active power is equal to the reactive power. There is no VAR in DC circuit, so only active power exists. So that is a component of the DC circuit, means only active power is now occurrent in your DC, not in your reactive power. So there is no reactant power in DC circuit due to the zero phase angle between current and the voltage. Similarly, behavior in pure resistive circuit, all circuit power is dissipated by the resistor, which is now active power. So there are some generalized point difference between your active and the reactive power. All of you clear? That is a definition, representation, that is by the formula, by the measuring instrument, and the role in the DC circuit. Role in the DC circuit means active power is important to produce heat and utilization. So active power is equal to the reactive power. There is no VAR in DC circuit. No VAR. So now that is here actually utilization of these circuits. So that is the difference between here active and here reactive power. Okay, students. Next topic, that is here according to with your true power, active power, and the apparent power, that should be known as your power triangle. Okay. Topic is now according to the real, active, and apparent power triangle. I'm audible to all of you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Audible.
Power off हो गई है. I'm audible to all of you. So now this is a
Yes, sir.
diagram
Yes,
I
sir.
have to mention is that power triangle. Power triangle is basically it is a representation of a right angle triangle showing the relation between the true power, apparent power, and your reactive power in that. Okay, when each component of this one of the current, that is the active component, that is the I cos phi, and the reactive component I sin phi is multiplied by the voltage. A power triangle that should be shown with the, that is the apparent power, that is the root value of the Vi. This is the component of Vi cos phi, and this is the reactive power, that is the Q is equal to denoted by Vi sin phi. Check out this one. So basically, the power which is actually consumed or utilized in AC circuit is known as your true power or the accurate power or the real power. So that is the accurate power. Back and forth, that is a reactive. Root means square value of voltage and current, that should be known as your apparent power. So that is the power triangle diagram to the combination of the all three powers. Okay. According to this one, there is formula is developed for regarding the power factor. Know me, what is now power factor for that? Power factor that is noted by phi cos phi, sorry. It should be equal to the active power divided by your apparent power. Active power that is in your kW and that is in your kVA. That is your cos phi relation is now related with your power factor. So that is a power factor formula that is noted by the active power divided by your apparent power kW divided by kVA. So we know simply power means the product of the voltage and the current. So that is power triangle, and that should have to related with the power factor cos phi. That is the active power and the apparent power kW divided by kVA. Now students, so now that is the cover up the topic of the related with the all these three powers, power triangle, relation between them, and the numerical formulas, measurement instruments, units. So next topic, I have to discussion some general introduction of the next topic, that is your energy meter. Okay, energy meter according to your PPT you have to seen in that. Energy meter, the meter which is used or measuring the energy utilizes by the electric load is known as energy meter. All of you know that the energy is a total power consumed and utilized by the load at a particular interval of the time. It is used in your domestic and industrial AC circuit for measuring the power consumption. The meter is now less expensive and accurate. So that is the definition of the energy meter. ये सबको पता है एनर्जी मीटर घरों में बाहर हमारे सभी कहीं भी लगा हुआ है टू मेजरिंग दी रीडिंग ऑफ योर यूटिलाइजेशन ऑफ द पर्टिकुलर पावर एंड द लोड फॉर अ पर्टिकुलर इंटरवल ऑफ अ टाइम. Okay, so that is the number of types of the energy meter. Maybe your in your handle single phase energy meter, three phase energy meter, jahan jahan pe whatever your requirement of the load is now high, that in maybe used in your industry level they are using your three phase energy meter. Okay, so in this year syllabus I have to discussion about the single phase energy meter with the detailed description of the construction, working theory, and calculation of the revolution of the energy meter. How many revolution can give the reading of the energy meter. So that is a basically brief description of the energy meter. Okay, so that is total energy power consumed and utilization by the load at a particular interval of time. So that is your energy meter. Okay,